when we're talking about Gemini energy, we're not just talking about people born under that sun sign. We're talking about its moon, its rising, and also if they have a stellium in their chart. What's a stellium? A stellium is basically talking about 3 or more planets in your chart. So, for example, what we have here, you have the star signs personified as planets. If you haven't watched my first Astrology 101 video, and you're new to astrology, please have a look at that video. But ultimately, it's a part of your chart that will embody a number, which is a house of that particular area, and that house will be governed by a star sign, and within that star sign is going to carry that energy for the planets that are inside there, with the planets also carrying energies of a star sign. So when it comes to compatibility, much like compatibilities with people, where things can be like chalk and cheese, so like Scorpio and Pisces work very well together. So like if this was this is a Pisces, so if the Scorpio's planet that governs Scorpio, which is Pluto, would be in here, it's not, that would be a very good placement, and they call that a beneficial placement. So that's a stellium. So if you have a look at your chart and you see 3 or more planets in that specific area, you basically have a guide to say this is what you're really good in. Or if you have Jupiter, which I like to call Jesus, in your chart, in any area, it's almost going to amplify that area. So there's that. So let's get on to Gemini. Now, Gemini's come under the 3rd house, and with Gemini, 3 comes under, I'd like to, with the Rider-Waite, you have the 3 of Cups, or you have 3 of Pentacles, you have the 3 of, now I think I need to get my Rider-Waite. Hold on a second. Because I think there's something here. When it comes to the 3s, there's something about life, society, that really encapsulates the 3 energy. So hopefully I can find it, because I'm reading this part right now. Just intuitively felt that this would be a good, having a look at my ancient phone. It would be a good way to understand it, right? So, yeah. Hopefully I can find it soon. But yeah, I would say the Geminis are one of the, I would say the air signs are all quite intelligent. A lot of things are named after them. So let's say I've put here Google AI Assistant. They've called it Gemini, and it's for the reason that they're communicating, they're connecting, they've got some level of knowledge or a vast level of knowledge that can help you in whatever you want. Like, it's not, I feel they really thought about that, So Geminis don't get a good rap in this lifetime. And I don't think they're supposed to. And I think that's the thing about manifestation. So this is 3 of Wands, right? About manifestation and self-love. It's like, not everybody in this world is supposed to be, not everybody's supposed to be liked. Some people are here to simply shift and change things and get people going. Like, it's not just keep everybody happy. And sometimes it's like a domino effect to get things moving. So I feel like the Gemini does hold that energy. And when they're really focused, they can really cause some damage, you know. I would say when it comes to thinking carefully, this is not something the Gemini does. They are very quick-minded. I've noticed, even personally, when it comes to Geminis, they're never fully focused on anything. If they're on the phone to you, they're doing something else, and something else, right? They're never really always focused, because their mind is in like overdrive. And if they are going to be fully focused, they make you know, hey, look, I'm actually listening to you. This I don't do this. So for the fact that I'm fully focused means I'm listening. So they know themselves. I would also say they can actually make very good parents, because they're so critical of themselves. And so, how would I say this? They have a superficiality about them. They kind of remind me of Sagittarius. They like magpies, like they like glittery things, and they will gravitate towards it, because in their mind, if you've achieved a certain level of greatness, then you're clever, right? And therefore you must, I will respect everything that you exude. So because like being somebody that can raise a child, or why I feel they make good parents, is that they will put that same level of moving superficiality in a way that says, well, I want you to be the best, because you're my child. You're an extension of me. You can't be in a situation where you're not, you know, whereas maybe other signs will just be like, no, you know, just be yourself. You know, it's all about being you. Oh, it's really like I can't find these threes. And the only reason why I'm showing the tarot is there we go, is that all numbers, it's not a mistake that this 3 has come under Gemini, because it is about communication. And then the fact that they're under the rulership of Mercury is strengthening. There's always numbers, elements, things that are always kind of moving in that area. They are the ones that can get through or pioneer through or be listened to. Now they have this duality, so they come into the archetype of the twins, and essentially that duality, sometimes people could call it two-faced. Sometimes people could see it as they're just really indecisive, which I feel like sometimes they do have that internal struggle with, that they can't really make up their mind as to what, so that there could be even like a nervousness about how that really pans out, but they kind of show to the world that they've got everything worked out, you know. But I think with Pisces, I think, there we are. I think we might have, and there we are. Okay. So I think where it happens here, I haven't done this for the other signs. I'm just kind of improvising as I go along. The 3s, I see them as if we see here, we have the 3 of Pentacles, and everybody's got different renditions. I like this one. It's still closer to the Rider-Waite, which is like one of the originals, but they're all around talking about, if you can see here, they're talking about some tapestry on the archway, right? And they're discussing it. So this is about communication, this is about innovation, teamwork, this kind of stuff. So the fact that this comes under number 3, again, isn't a coincidence, you know. Everything, even lately I've been thinking chess, even the numbers that they may come under has a significant something significant, but I haven't checked it. But I just feel like I've seen so many things so far, everything is connected. I'm just like, okay, so there is a common narrative that we can go with. Here we got the 3 of Swords. I would say that this makes sense. Swords talks about communication. So this is more kind of direct. It's kind of like, like I said earlier, I feel like when it comes to the ability to talk and have people listen, even if it's they resonate and they're annoyed, or they resonate and they're motivated, they have the power to do so much things. One thing I like about Geminis is that they can see two sides of the coin, even if they can be very away from the topic itself and still have a view on both sides, right? And that's probably why they call them two-faced, because they're just like, well, you need to pick a side, and maybe they have, but to keep the peace, maybe, and that's a choice. They could choose not to keep the peace or show you that they're not keeping the peace. But yeah, I think that these threes this is about a fixed decision to travel, to explore, which is all what Geminis do. That's their, I would say, what is it? The ninth house is about travel, right? I would say that when it comes to Gemini and exploring, there's something that gets manifested. So let's say you had Gemini in your ninth house. That would magnify hugely maybe a place that you can manifest. Everyone manifests differently, and I wanted to talk about the different energies of so here we've got the Three of Cups, which is typically three ladies cheering, celebrating. So this is more social. This is more like going out, having fun. Again, it's talking about Mercury. It's talking about connection. But yeah, I feel like in order to manifest, everybody manifests differently, and everybody has their own little magical powers that they can alchemize to get to where they want to go. So when I think of, so like I said before, if Gemini was in its ninth house, do I want to draw something? I'm going to draw something. Do I have my pen? I don't have my pen. My pen. Oh. So, Gemini. Let's just say these are one of their houses, a little slice of pizza, I like to call it, right? So this will be the ninth house, right? And the ninth house is about, it's about study, like higher learning, So it's not just any type of learning, right? Travel, even languages. It's about exploring things beyond your normal level of study, right? It's about taking that extra step. So if that's taking an extra step to go to a different country to further explore other religions or other ways of living, that's this energy. And if, for example, if we had Mercury, so we have Mercury, which Mercury is Gemini. If you have that in the ninth house, for example, yeah, this is something that you could exemplify. And especially like if you had something like Jupiter in there, which is Pisces. Now, is Jupiter and Mercury, do they work? I think Pisces, Jupiter is one of those planets that it kind of works with, it kind of goes with the flow. This can be alchemized. I wouldn't say this is a bad conjunction. And again, conjunction, it just means next to, right? But even though Pisces is a water sign and it's in the sign of, it's in the sign of Sagittarius, this is a very nice placement, and it will give you, or it can amplify areas of your life. And so when we talk about manifestation, to manifest, I didn't do this for any of the other signs, but I'm just feeling the vibe, right? You could manifest, and I spoke to that because I gave someone a reading some years back, right? And they were a Gemini. So I think I understand Geminis very well. Friendship, dating, relationships, these things, I've understood them very well. So I feel like to manifest, it would be a scenario where, let's just say they ran their own business, and maybe business was moving slow, and they decided that they're going to go away on holiday. And then they go away on holiday, and the minute they go away, there's just orders just coming in, just left, right, and center, just coming in. And then it's like you didn't connect the dots. And I'm only saying this because the person who I read, they were like, oh my gosh, that's so true. When I do go away, things start to shift, or people start messaging me, or things that I wanted to get done, or people that I wanted to get back to me gets back to me when I'm away. So, I mean, when we're alchemizing, okay, when we're doing a bit of magic, there is something about moving out of one area into a next. It's almost like there is frequency that holds you in that area that you're in, and the minute you come out of it, it releases you of that and allows you to feel more free to manifest. This is for, and this is more like, and this won't work for everyone. You see, like it won't work for everyone. It would only work for people who exist in a way that they need to travel in order to get the best out of their manifestation, or get the best out of the things that they want to do. So that's Gemini. Now, I do find that Geminis, they have a big problem with sleep, and I think that's largely to do with their mind just being at just so fast. Everything that they're thinking, it's like they have two brains and they're trying to process them at the same time. Very witty. So the Geminis that we've put as for celebrities, because I put celebrities there because ironically they're called stars. So they are, I guess, some of the strongest attributes, because they're seen in the open, where you can see if, let's say if they're having a downfall, right? Or they're having a glow up, or something really good is happening. You can look at the transits. So I briefly spoke about transit. This is like day to day. So today there could be a planet moving. I'm just going to say, let's say a planet is, let's say, this is not a planet, it's a sign. Let's say Neptune, okay? Let's say Neptune is moving into because we've got the ninth house here, is moving into the ninth house today at 3:30. Just because of that placement, it's now going to interact with your Mercury and your Jupiter. That's maybe in your natal chart, right? In your ninth house. And so they're all going to have a bit of a conversation, right? And much like, if you can understand it, or I'm trying to personify it, but if you have friends that, let's say one friend is a Pisces, another friend is also a Pisces, and then there is or a Sagittarius, then you have like a Gemini in the mix. It can balance it out, because Gemini and Sagittarius, they work very well together. So if you have Pisces, it might even allow for things to slow down. And you know what? Even when we're talking about alchemy, air is simply just a combust version of water. It's steam, in a way, in movement. So it's looking at things in an alchemical way that can really help you. But yeah, so that's that. So we've got Kanye West. We've got Kanye West. And Kanye West is very interesting because he is a master number. He's a master number 11. Like me. It depends. It depends on the calculation. Sometimes I come up as a 2, sometimes I come up as 11. I just say I'm a 211, you know. And his mother, I believe, was a master number as well, 22. So you can see that. And I think with master numbers, so if you are a master number as a Gemini, I feel like everything is just intensified, you know. I did say like me, but I would have been very happy just to be a 2. No matter what calculation comes up, I'm just a 2, you know. But yeah, being an 11 isn't easy, you know. You have to be in control of your emotions, and that's, as we can see from Kanye, he's definitely working that through. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, so him being a Gemini, him being outspoken, him kind of shaking the table when everybody's trying to eat. It's like, yeah, he's here to cause problems, you know. And not to care either. Like, I think that's it. I think he's overcoming the fact that I don't care what other people think about me, because this is what I know, who I am, and I know why I'm here. And so therefore I can dismantle this feeling of, oh no, I wonder what this person's going to think. It don't matter anymore. So we have Venus Williams. I didn't know she was a Gemini, but even when I see some of her videos and clips, like, she's already has this like confidence that I would say is strongly associated with Geminis. Then we have Lauryn Hill. We have Kendrick Lamar. Again, you can see that there's a familiar energy around all of them. They're a force. When they talk, like Lauryn Hill, the Miseducation album, like worldwide, everybody bought that. It was like the equivalent of I don't know, Bob Marley or something. But it was so prolific. And even me listening to it as a kid, I didn't understand it, but I felt it, you know. And her chart must be interesting. She probably has some very strong Pisces placements, or water placements, should I say. So then we have Kendrick Lamar. I mean, recently we can kind of see what's happened, where they're wordsmiths. They're very, very sharp with their words. And if they can really break you down, you know, if you can, should you allow it. That's why they need a strong opponent. That's why I would say the Sagittarius work very well for Geminis, or Gemini and Gemini. I think Gemini, they're being with their own kind, because they are very, very unique individuals. And sometimes when you're so unique, you can't, it's not easy, man. And then like, I could even say Libra, because Libra is a bit, there's some duality with them as well. Like they're a bit like, what you see is not always what you get. You know what I mean? Their sense of loyalty would be very securing and very helpful for Gemini, because even though Gemini may be prone to, you know, kind of having a distracted eye, They don't, they're quite very hypocritical. They don't want the same for their partner. I mean, most people are like that, to be fair. But yeah, so we got Paul McCartney, we have Marilyn Monroe, we have Donald. I mean, we know about Donald Trump. Again, it's that same kind of energy of like just being provoking. Like, I feel like he pre-plans things, and he gives the illusion that, I don't know, that's the thing about Geminis, because you're just like, are you being serious right now, or are you just playing the game, you know? And because they're playful, because they like to play mind games, like, I'm not surprised that, you know, he's what he won for president, because being in that limelight, you have to be a good actor. Sometimes I would look at him and he's listening, but when he's listening, it's almost like he's over listening. Like, he's like, okay, now I have to act like I'm really interested in what this person has to say. And I'm like, this is performance. This is the theater, darling. And then, so we have the body parts, so the lungs and the hands. As you can see, when Donald Trump is like this, every time when he's talking, I'm like, is this for real? So they've got a lot of character. They've got a lot of things happening there. So yeah, Geminis in relationships, they're fun, playful. I'd say good at like date ideas. They really know where to, like, if they, you know, places that are just quirky and fun and different. But can also be indecisive and untrustworthy. Like, they definitely won't open up very quickly. If they see that you also can get their banter, or you're almost as intelligent as them, because they always think that they're more intelligent than anybody else, you know. You know, that they're going to soften up a bit, because they're like, oh, I can see myself in you, or you know, whatever. Ambivalent, yeah. And I think that's it. I think that's where the kind of duality, you just really don't know where they're headed or where their head's at sometimes. So 1 minute you're talking to them and they just switch on you, and then the next minute they're happy again. So I would say, I'd definitely say Libra. Maybe because I think Libra would be very good to, you know, give them the taste of their own medicine. I also would say Sagittarius as well would be very good at that. Yeah, Sagittarius for sure. But I think Sagittarius would ground Gemini when they're feeling a bit flighty. And almost in a way, because I do think Sagittarius is an evolved version of a Gemini. But just even being able to just direct, okay, this is what you want to do. Okay, we can do it like this, because they will get each other, you know. They both like to explore. They both like to be curious. They both like to help. They both like to connect people, and they like all this kind of stuff, right? So they help each other very well. I would say, yeah, they're very hardworking, holds grudges. I mean, I put that there because I feel like it's true. I feel like they remind me of Scorpios in that region. They won't let it go. They will remember it like it's the first time it happened. And there's a few signs that are like that. There are a few signs that won't let things go. They may on the surface say, yeah, no problem. Yeah. But really and truly, they have not let that go. And if you ever trip up, if you even make it, they will come back for you again. So, yeah, so those are that's the energy of Gemini. I think Geminis are cool. Was there a time that I questioned them? Yes, but I think everyone in every period of life in their lifetime has questioned a Gemini. And with that being said, that's the end of Gemini energy. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't watched Astrology 101, please have a look at that video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.